Hey everyone, it's Saturday, November 26th, 2016, and it's time to go to work on music. So, the vlogs have been taking up a little bit of time. I don't really know if it's going to be worth it to continue to do them, but at the same time, I don't want to just give up after like a month, or a few weeks of doing it. So, I'm still evaluating the value of that. I think what I need to do is streamline the process a little bit because it's not a high leverage activity at the moment, although it is valuable. I think if I stopped doing it, that would be bad for some of the reasons I was talking about in yesterday's video, but just getting perspective on my playing, getting comfortable documenting the process and improving my video editing and workflow over time, which it's almost non-existent as far as editing goes. I mean, I'm just like doing clips and speeding them up. But it's a start, and I'm a big believer of just starting. If you want to do something, start and then just steer the ship as you go. Set sail, get off the dock, steer as you go, and it's a good way to learn, actually. So today I'm getting kind of a late start, but it's all good. Just had a lot of stuff going on this week in the personal life, as I've shared with you guys. Holidays, stuff coming up. It's just how it goes. But goals for today, what we're going to do is do some online class stuff. We're going to do some guitar work. Then we are going to work through the show. Just keep working through the show. That's the major priority today. Got through one track yesterday. The camera ran out of batteries. But I did get through the track, which was really valuable. So I want to do a review of those first two tracks, get the sounds down for the third track, and then get the fourth track locked up. That would be pretty huge if we could get all that done today, at least as far as sketching goes. And then the sub goal would be cover tunes, getting those mapped out, which probably isn't going to take that long. So can probably make it happen. It's going to be a little tight, but with that in mind, let's get to work. Okay, finished an interesting article on imposter syndrome, and in the Learning How to Learn class, they talked about it a lot. I'm not sure how much that applies to me. I think we all experience feelings of inadequacy just just because I think we live in a society where we often judge ourselves best based on external validation. And that's not 100% true, but you think about your job, like, how do you know you're really good at your job? It's probably because other people are like, hey, you're really good. Just because you think you're really good at your job and tell yourself that doesn't mean you actually produce results. You got to look at the data. So the imposter syndrome is kind of like the opposite of that, where you're looking at the data and you see the results, but then you still tell yourself you're not legit. I mean, I do feel that way as an artist a lot of times because I didn't go to art school. I didn't go to college for art or for music. And that definitely makes me feel like I'm at a disadvantage, which in a sense I am. I don't have the same level of instruction that a lot of other folks have. But I also have the freedom of being outside of an institutional system for learning, and that gives me an advantage as long as I work hard enough. Um, and also, I'm more likely to learn better the things that I do seek out, but then other people sometimes have the advantage of having mentors who have gone the professional path and can coach them. So I'm looking at ways that I can maximize my knowledge on the fronts that I do, like these online classes. I'm eventually going to graduate to the Berkeley online classes, which I'm excited about. So I'm filling in those gaps, and that's going to be a big part of next year. And yeah, I've said this many times online. I mean, I'm not where I want to be, but that doesn't diminish the accomplishments I've made so far, and actually being a less trained musician, maybe from the academic point of view, even though I have had a lot of private lessons and great mentorship and training from a lot of great players. I'm always going to want to get better. And thinking about making the leap to being a professional, I mean, I'm sort of just at the very beginning of that. I've been wanting it for a while, but I haven't necessarily been acting upon that as actively as I have been just in the past few months. So I want to remind myself of that. This is really the beginning of not the true beginning, because all that groundwork was like setting me up for success, but this is like the beginning of really transitioning to the business aspect of things and looking for that external validation, because I think the music and art I made before was pretty much just like, I'm just doing this for me, and like I wanted other people to like it and receive that validation, but at the same time like I wasn't dependent on that to feel successful. And artistically I feel successful no matter what at this point. I mean, what I've been able to accomplish given the obstacles that I've overcome, both personally and professionally, to make it happen, and the sacrifices that I've made personally and professionally to make it happen. I mean, I'm confident with that, and obviously I want to grow, and I'm going to continue to grow artistically, and that's really at the core of what I want. But when I'm talking about doing it professionally, it's good for me to remind myself, like, that's a little different, and now I'm getting into a sphere where there's a lot of different judgments. Well, maybe not, maybe not. Maybe going out and being a professional artist and marketing yourself is really about staying true to that inner vision, and not deconstructing it too much. Now that I say it out loud, I think I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure about that, so I'll think about that more. But if you guys have thoughts on that, obviously let me know. But I'm gonna keep sort of meditating on that for a little bit, and I'm gonna move on to my business class now. Just reflecting on what I was talking about a moment ago a little bit more, I've realized what you're selling as an artist, a professional artist, as a musician, whatever, is you're selling your truth. That's what you're bottling. And so to say that you're more skilled, less skilled, better, worse, good, bad, palatable, unpalatable, listenable, not listenable, I mean, those are all valid descriptions and valid things to think about, but at the end of the day, you're either being honest with your vision or you're not. That's what just hit me. And what you're marketing is, you're taking that honesty and you're saying, okay, we're gonna package this, basically, instead of just having it be something we're just doing for fun or doing for self-expression or personal fulfillment. We're gonna actually take that fulfillment and we're gonna bottle it, and we're gonna impart it to other people. And if you have something to say and you've got a message to deliver, people are going to respond to that. And if you don't, so be it. Um, I mean, that's what's hitting me, is like, art, selling art is both the same and different as other businesses. Like, you are selling value, but it's not the type of value where you're going to go out and like do the customer survey of like, okay, well, what do you want from your art? I mean, maybe some people are going to do that. I don't know. But that's where I'm at right now. I'm just realizing, like, look, there's always going to be someone better than me, and there's always going to be someone worse than me, and that's just never going to change. So what am I going to do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take honest, real snapshots of my progress and my development as an artist and as a person, and I'm going to put those out. And that's going to be what that's going to be. And I did not get into music so that I could make as much money as possible. I mean, it's just not a good way to do that. um, some people, maybe for some people who are just like born with that innate gift, and they've been, schooled since they were, little kids, they're prodigies, like maybe those people, it's just like, all right, just, they're going to be so much better at piano than they're ever going to be at business management or something like that. But I don't think I'm that way necessarily. Like, I think in a lot of ways I'd probably be a better like software developer, or a better like mid-level corporate manager than I might ever be as a musician. I mean, that's kind of sad, honestly, but it doesn't mean I love it any less than those other people do. And I always felt that my love for the process and for the result and just for music in general would be my best competitive advantage, because I probably wouldn't work as hard in some other capacity. Now that I say that, I don't know that that's necessarily true. I think just my personality, whatever I do, I'm gonna try to do it to the utmost. So I don't know, guys. I'm definitely letting that just sink in, and The great thing about interacting with new ideas is it changes your perception and it changes your thought process, and hopefully for the better, you know. But it's, you got to let yourself be influenced by it before you can make a decision sometimes. So maybe I shouldn't have picked up the camera again, you know. Maybe I should have just let that marinate for a bit. But anyway, that's what I'm doing right now. You know, I'm just saying, look, yeah, I want to be better. Yeah, there's other people who are better than I am, quote unquote better. I mean, it's so subjective. But I'm gonna make my stuff. I'm gonna be honest with myself and with everyone else, and I'm gonna live with the results of that. And if it doesn't go anywhere, then at least I played what I wanted to play, you know, and did what I wanted to do. I mean, really the whole point of doing music is I didn't want to succeed doing something that wasn't me, that wasn't really authentic to me. And so I'll be able to walk away from it one way or the other. But in the meantime, there's a time and a place to stop thinking about it and analyzing it, and just do your work, guys. So with that in mind. Okay, I was just reading some Amazon reviews of one of the bands that my friends said I sort of reminded them of. Genre-wise, I think I'm a little different than these people. I mean, artistically, I can see the overlap, like slow tempos and progressive experimental styles. But genre-wise, they're more like in the folk rock category. Even though they do have a lot of similar elements, like integration of electronic instruments and loops, and sort of a consistency to their music. They also have a really great vibe, which I'm starting to strive for more in my music. I don't know that my past music has captured that, but it's interesting to contemplate. You know, I think they're probably a little bit far genre wise from where I'm going, but it is really interesting to look at the customer reviews and just think like, hey, these are real fans voicing their opinion about this band, and that's really cool. You know, you start to realize how many opportunities you have as an artist to connect with people these days, how easy that is, and how much people want to connect with what they're participating in artistically. You know, it's really heartening, really a beautiful thing. So, on that note, let's get into some guitar work here. Okay, good guitar practice. Just working on memorizing some of these chord shapes that I learned months ago and just haven't been using a whole lot of, honestly. Um, but yeah, I think, you know, for me personally, learning those chord shapes and a lot of the details of the guitar was more about learning the neck and understanding how to pick the chords that I want to when I need them rather than like rote memorization. So I'm getting a lot of mileage out of that. But at the same time, I would like this ability to say like, okay, I need an F sharp minor, you know, or F sharp flat five, flat nine, or something like that on the D string root. You know, I want to be able to bust that out quickly if needed. Um, Mostly just for confidence purposes and completion sake. But you know, that stuff all adds up. Like there's a collective effect that happens when you have all those nuts and bolts together, that all of a sudden things click and you get the big picture. That's always worth it to me. So working on that, using some good memorization techniques for it. Actually, that's probably worth noting. I try to associate the shape of the chord with some type of visual that's like humorous and sort of strange. And your visual spatial memory processing center is super robust compared to your other memory processing centers in your brain. So memorizing things that way can be super, super helpful. Good tip. So now we're going to get into the show. Let's make it happen. good session. You know, the audio on this camera has been a little bit funny, so sorry if this clip's weird, but yeah, overall really good day in the studio. Didn't get quite as much done as I wanted to, but really happy with the work that I did do, and that seems to be the theme of my practice sessions recently. So what I'm going to do going forward is just be a little more diligent about planning. I've talked about that in the past, and it's just something that I guess I haven't totally integrated into my routine. Of course, it's always difficult to estimate how long particularly creative things are going to take, so you give it your best shot and you stick to your plan as best you can. Now, of course, there's got to be room, I think, to improvise in the creative session. I mean, otherwise, there's not really that much that's creative about it if you think about it. If you're just running the routine and you're not giving yourself room to actually innovate, then that can create its own problems. So I think I'm in a pretty good spot there, but at the same time I could be doing a better job just sticking to the time limits. So other than that, I got through 2 songs. I'm better than I was yesterday by a wide margin. The show's in a better place than it was yesterday. I'm making good mistakes and making good adjustments, and I'm feeling good about the progress. I think the show's going to be really, really awesome, and it's definitely going to be the coolest thing that I've ever done as artistically. So really, really happy about that. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Hope you're having a great and safe Saturday night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Usually I take Sundays off, but I took Thanksgiving off this week, so I'm going to work tomorrow, and I will see you guys then.